Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Today's daf is daf samach. We start from Omar Rav Papa. Omar Rav Papa is 2, 4, 6, 7 lines from the top. Omar Rav Papa. If you have a guy who's holding on the barrel and he's pouring it into a jug, he's pouring wine into a jug, yeah, and the yid is holding the jug. Chamra aser. The chamra is aser b'shtia. My timer. Ki ka'asim yekayach oivet kechavim ka'asi. It's kayach oivet kechavim. And therefore, it's asr b'shtia pashtus. It's mutter b'hana. It's only asr b'shtia because we say lech lech ambinin naziris schar schar lekarmel tikrav. Move away. Yeah, it's just a chumrah. So you shouldn't be nichshal in yain nesach. Okay, Yisrael adona v'yitchav makuba. Right, it's like the din of diluting wine. What about Yisrael Adonai v'chav akuba? What if the other way around? What if the Yisrael is holding the chavis and he's pouring it into the jug and the guy is holding the jug? Chamra shari, the wine is mutter as long as the guy doesn't shake the jug that he's holding, then it's mutter. Mitzadet's dudi, and if he's moving it around, then the yain is aser. Again, the yain aser b'shtia. Amar of Papa, I've come the dari zika. If a guy is carrying a flask of wine, and it's closed, completely closed on top, because the Yisrael Achayre and the Yid is walking behind him, Mal Yeshari, if the flask is full till the top, then the Yayin is mutter. Because the guy can't move it around through moving the flask, and Mechavan Lanaseich, because it's full to the top. There's no room for it to move around. Chasira, but if it's missing a little wine, there's space, aser, then it's aser, dilma mekarkish, because we're choishish that maybe is mekarkish. Kuba, malya aser, dilma naga, chasira sharad loy naga, the opposite. If it's a jug that's open, then if it's malya, then it's aser. Why? Because it could be, very easily, he could have just put his hand through it and the yid didn't notice, and he would have touched the wine. It's open. Chasira shari, but if it's missing, it's not mamish full to the top, then the only way he could actually touch it is if he puts his hand in, the yid would have for sure noticed that. And we're not choishish that maybe he's mekarkish because he doesn't want it to spill. So chasira shari, if it's chasir, then it's mutter de loy naga. And also, it wasn't mekashkish, pashtus, because he doesn't want it to spill. Ravashi Omar zika b'mali de chasira shari. If you're talking about a flask of wine that is closed, then even if it's chasar, it's mutter. My time ain't derech nisach bekach. You don't have to be choishish that maybe it was mekashkishit and it was manasach, because ain't derech nisach bekach. There's no nisach through a near kli. We don't have to be choishish for that. Okay. So the Gemara weiter. Matzah zayda Rav Papa shari Rav Ashi v'tem Rav Sima b'Rashi osar. What if you have a wine press and you press the grapes through a kaira? Yeah, the art scroll has a very descriptive illustration over here where, not sure if you can see it or not, but there's a pole, and the pole is connected to a screw. The pole is horizontal, it's connected to a screw, and there's a beam, the screw is vertical, and then there's a beam horizontal here, and you're moving the beam, the pole to move the beam on the bottom. Pole on top moves the beam on the bottom because they're connected through a screw. And that's what presses the grapes. So the Gemara says, Machlokes Rav Papi and Rav Ashi, whether it's mutter or osir if a guy does that. If it's mamish direct koyach, everybody holds it's osir. Keep leaving bekoyach koychoy. Machlokes is bekoyach koychoy. Yeah, it could be that's considered koyach koychoy. This case is considered koyach koychoy because it's indirect. Keep leaving bekoychoy. Yeah, koyach koychoy, everybody holds it's mutter. There's no yain nesach, there's no halach of yain nesach b'koyach koychoy. Keep leaving bekoychoy. However, the bekoyach koychoy, but also Rabbi Yaakov and Harpekoid. Rabbi Yaakov answered by koyach koyach, he was machmer. Hey chavisa, a story with a barrel of wine, the ipaka la arka, it split vertically. Idre yahucham b'chapka, so this guy jumped and hugged the barrel so it doesn't split apart. Shari Rav Papi Temer Avun Beit Shul is one of the Chacham. So mattered ba'no. V'hanim will the pakal orka. Avalapusya, but if the barrel split horizontally, I feel a b'shti shari. Even b'shti it's mutter. My time of ice levenika of it, because the guy all he did was right? There was a very gravitational pull. It wouldn't have like completely come apart. It would have leaked out a little bit, but it's like he put a brick on it, right? So it's not considered as if he's touching it. There was a guy that he was found standing next to a wine press of a Jew, and there was no wine in the press itself. Yeah, so they're not sure if he touched the lachluchas. It was moist, a little bit moist, leftover of the previous wine press. So now we're not sure what to do. If there is enough moisture that if you touch it, you'll have moist on your hand that you can get something else wet, then the whole press needs to be washed out and dried before you can use it again. And if it doesn't have that much moisture to begin with, then all you got to do is just rinse it down and you're good to go. A guy that's found to stand, he's found standing on the side of a bar of wine. So what's the halacha? You're not sure if he touched it or he didn't touch it. He's just standing there. You catch him standing next to a bar filled with wine. Im yeshloi milva alav aser. If the yid owes the guy money, and the Gemara is going to explain, and there was an apoitiki on this bar. Apoitiki means poitei, that the yid told him that if he doesn't pay him back, he can collect this bar of yayin. Then aser. Then the wine is aser. If the guy was found standing next to that bar, it's aser. Why? Because he's not afraid to touch it. He probably touched it because he's standing to collect from this bar anyway if the yid can't pay. Okay. Ein loy milva olav. If the guy does not owe him money, then the yain is mutter. Why? Because he's afraid to touch it. He doesn't want to be caught. Okay. Nafal a bar. What if the guy falls into a bar? Va'Allah, and he got out. Or medode bekana, or he measured it with a rod, with a kana. Hittis is atzira bekana. Or, I guess he sprayed from the wine, he smacked the wine with a kana onto a tzira, trying to chase away a bee. Or what he did was, he took his hand and he basically removed some of the ketzef, some of the bubbles, some of the sediments that rose to the top as it was fermenting. So he removed it. B'chal elu hayamaisa. These are all real stories that happened. V'amru yimacher. The Chachamim said that it's aser b'shtia, but it's muter b'hana. V'Reb Shimon matir even b'shtia. Reb Shimon went all the way lakula. In such cases, he's matir b'shtia. Notel sachavius v'zarka b'chamasoi lebar. What if a guy takes a barrel of wine and he throws it out of anger into a bar of yayin? This is also zahayamaisa. V'echshiru, and they were matir the yayin even b'shtia. Now the Gemara is going to speak about each of these cases separately. So the Gemara, Amar Shmuel, v'hushi yesh lo milva al oisa yayin. When the Mishnah says that an oidchum that's found standing next to a bar of yayin, that it's aser if there's a halva, if there's a loan, a debt that the yid is mechuyev to the guy, that's not just any debt. It's a debt al oisa yayin. Rashi says, "She'asal Yisrael say yayin azeh apoitiki ligbas amenui." The Yisrael said that if I don't pay you, you can mamish collect this bar of wine. So now he's not afraid to touch it. Why? Because if he gets caught, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to say, "This is the bar of yayin that anyways you're going to pay me with." So I decided to drink from it. I decided to touch it, to be menasach it. Amar Rav Ashi Masnisa Nami Daika. I have a raya from a Mishnah on the next daf. Mishnah says like this: Hametaher yeinoi shel eved kechavim. If a guy is metaher es yeinoi through a yid, which means what?
No, what's metaher?
Is a loshen. What a loshen of metaher. Metaher means that the guy asked the yid to make the wine, and he's not going to get involved. He wants the yid to make the wine so he could sell it to other Jews, right? He doesn't want to lose customers. If he makes the wine, he's not going to be able to sell it to a yid. So he told this yid, "It's my wine. I want you to do you," as they say.
So he can sell it to Yidden.
He can sell it to Jews. He can sell it to Yidden.
Yeah.
I love the language of the Mishnah.
Yeah,
Mishnah later, yeah, Mishnah Samachalef. Hametaher yeino shel oivet kechavim. A yid that's metaher the wine. It's amazing. It doesn't say hamachshir yeno shelav kicham. It doesn't say hamatir. It says metaher, right? Tum and tahar over here. Metaher yesh shelav kicham and noisnoi b'shosai. And then after he presses the wine properly, the yid he presses it b'tahara. He puts it into the rishus of the guy. V'halo koisev loy, and the guy writes to him his kabalti memchamois. He says, here's a receipt. It's as if you paid me already. In other words, it's your wine. It's your wine. For all practical purposes, this is your wine. And now I'm a shomer on your wine. That's the status of this guy. Right? He's a shomer on the wine of a Jew. Because the guy let him get away with it. Al pi halach, he said, Eskabalti mechaz, ki'ilu eskabalti. Right? Rashi says, ki'ilu kibalti mois. Then it's mutter. That is mutter. Why is it mutter? Because, so here, very interestingly, it's mutter. Rashi says, Im yesh mafteach ochoisem b'yad Yisrael. Right? Only if the yid has a choisem or it's locked and the yid has the key, that's the only time it's mutter in such a case. The Bach points out that in actual Mishnah, in Amud Aleph Samach Aleph, Rashi says the opposite, and Tosfos says that these are two additions in Rashi, a later edition and an earlier edition. There's a lot of rate over here, but either way, this guy said, "Iskabatim chamois mutter." The Mishnah says later it's mutter. Avlam yirtza Yisrael lo yitziyoi. But if the matzav is that if a yid wants to take the wine out of the rishus of the guy, ein manichoy achit lemoisav. The guy says, "No, where's my money?" In other words, he didn't write to him, "Iskabatim chamois." He can't do whatever he wants with it. He wasn't serious about it. Yeah. Zeh yemaisa be'shan ve'asru the chachamim aser the yayin. So the Gemara says, look at the Mishnah. Taima de ein manichai. The only reason why it's aser is because ein manichai, because the guy doesn't allow him to do with the wine whatever he wants. The wine is like a mashkin, right? The guy's holding on to the wine until the Jew brings him money from a different yid that he sold it to. That's when he releases the wine. So the wine is like a mashkin in the guy's house. Hamanichai, but if the guy allows the yid to be moitzi the yayin, because the yayin is like, it's not like a mashkin, it's just like a regular avah, shari, then it's mutter. Shmamina milva loisi yayin bina shmamina. So from this diak in the Mishnah later in Samach Aleph, you see that the chiluk is between the Reish and the Seifa of the Mishnah. The chiluk is whether it's a milval oiso yayin or not. Right in the Seifa, where the guy says, "I need money for this wine." Right? You owe me money. This is the wine. So it's like a milval oisei yayin. It's aser. In the ratio, when he says kabalti mim chamois, it's not on this wine per se, right? It's just any mouth. You put it on any alva. So then it's mutter. So you see that when our Mishnah says that im yeshloi milva olav aser, that's only a milva that is al oisei yayin. The guy still owns the wine, Allah. Yeah, it's a good point. That's right. Agami owns the wine. Beautiful. Very good.
So if the guy owns the wine, what's the whole...
The guy owns the wine, but he gave it over to the yid. He said, you could do whatever you want with it. Yeah, you owe me money, but not specifically for this wine. Whatever the value of the wine is, you owe me. But it's like alva stam. Stam, it's alva stam.
So the yid is not
Alva's money, right. You owe me money. Yeah. So if it's stam alva, then this wine is mutter. It's like the yid has the wine in his rishos. Correct. But if he wrote him a shoiver and he said, this kabalti mem chamois, no, that's the chiddush. The chiddush is, even though it's nois noib. That's right. As soon as the guy wrote him a receipt, and the guy said to him, Samach Vades, and the guy said to him, his kabalti mem chamois, then it's like it's yotzem mishosa. It's like it's because he can do whatever he wants with it. Now that it's like, even though he actually didn't pay him the money, but the guy, The guy gave him the receipt in advance, and the guy said, it's like he gave me money already. You do whatever you want with the wine. You'll owe me money, but do whatever you want with the wine. The wine is as if it's yours.
So the Yid is taking a chrayas for the wine or not?
No, chrayas is not the word. The shaila is, in whose reshus do we consider the wine in?
Right.
So if the guy gave him a receipt and said, it's like you paid me for the wine, then from this moment on, the Yid has a shlita over the wine. He can do whatever he wants with it.
The Nakuda is the Shlita.
Yeah,
right.
he has control over the wine, right? It's not that the guy controls the wine anymore. The guy, right? In the Seifa, the guy says, "No, you gotta pay me money first. Until you pay me money, I'm not releasing the wine." So at that point, Dan Shel Goy, that's Aser. That's Aser. Because now it's a milval oisiya, and the guy is, but also his das is I could do whatever I want with the wine because he hasn't paid me for the wine yet. Right.
So the Nakuda of Gemiros Das is the Nakuda here.
The shaila is the guy considering the wine in his possession, his or the Yid's?
Jews, right?
That's right.
Now, physically, where's the wine located, or does that make any difference? Is it in the basement of the goy, or is it in the basement of the Jew?
Oh, so it's in the guys rishus.
Yeah. Okay.
Still, that's the Mishnah.
It's physical rishus.
Yeah,
Right,
physical
right,
rishus.
right.
Yes. Okay, zug the Gemara weiter. The Mishnah said nafel a bar va'ala. If a guy falls into a bar of wine that belongs to a Jew, right? He falls into the bar of wine and then he gets out of it. Amar of Papa Lishanu Elo sha'ola meis. Right? The Mishnah said that in such a case, mutter b'hano. So Rav Papa says, when is it mutter b'hano if a guy falls into a bar of wine? Is if they drag him out mace. If he's dead. Right? Interesting.
Then mutar ba'ana.
Yeah. The Rishonim say it doesn't mean mamish dead, it means kimes, like he becomes nuts.
The lotion of Allah is strange. If he's dead, he can't come out.
Excellent. So in other words, Allah
you
mace
what?
means
He's dead.
Right.
he's as good as dead. He lost his mind. Okay.
Meaning they had to really take him out. He was not able by himself.
They had to bring a crane
Right.
and a bunch of first responders and an ambulance and everything.
But if he comes out alive and he is in his right frame of mind, usher, then the yain is usher. My time why? Amar Rav Papa, the Dama Lebi Yameidon, right? It's mamish a holiday, right? And he's attributing his success to his savior. Yeah, to the Avodah Zarah. So therefore, it would remain usher bahano in such a case.
So
Okay.
again, we're talking about makshava. We're talking about Gemiros Das. The koyach hamakshava. That's what's koveya.
Okay.
That's what you're saying,
Okay.
no? Yeah?
That's what you're deducing, but it's nice. Okay.
You know why? ברגע שהוא ניצל, הוא עלה, הוא שכשך ביין.
That's right. As soon as he comes out, he's already
Mixing.
model la shelo. That's right. That's exactly it.
He also can't be mechaber in his meshigana, so this is wine is
That's why it's
That's
mutter
right.
bano, right? That's why it would be mutter bano. In the case where he went crazy, it would be mutter bano. Right. So the Gemara weiter.
Because
Medodoi-
there's no Gemiros Das. If the guy has no Das, then he can't be Gomer Das.
Aha.
That's
Aha.
what you're saying? Isn't that what you're saying?
It's the question is what his intention would be. If he's meshulga, then he's matur of badaitoi.
Right.
Then as he comes out, he's not doing anything.
Nothing.
Lahoidoi slavoi the zara
It's
shelo.
like a 4-year-old or something, right?
Okay. Yeah. Medodoi bekone. What if this guy sticks a kone, right, a measuring tape into the chavius of wine? That was one of the cases. Kol eilo hayamai. So the Mishnah says this is a real story. V'amri yamachir. Chavis said it's mutar ba'anov. Reb Shimon matter even b'shtia. Amr of Adaber Ava. Yenuchol le Reb Shimon brachas al roishoy. Reb Shimon should be blessed. Why? Kshu matter legamre afilu b'shtia. Kshu oiser afilu ba'anov. Extremist, right? Reb Shimon either all the way aser, all the way mutter. Now, the Rashash is ma'oyer that Rav Adaber Ava was an Amoira. Reb Shimon was a Tana. So Rav Adaber Ava is blessing Reb Shimon after he died. Yenuchol le Reb Shimon brachas al roishoy. So he says it must be that there was a Tana shechai betkufas tanoim. His name was Rav Adaber Ava, and he gave this bracha to Reb Shimon by his lifetime. But either way, he said Yenuchol le brachas al roishoy kshemat afilu b'shtia kshoiser Afilu b'ano. Aber Chibur Rabban Chanan Reb Chizdam Rav, Amar Lo Reb Chizdam Raziri, Allah Reb Shimon. Allah is like Reb Shimon. It's mutar b'shtia also.
Which line are you on?
Ikadam Reb Chizdam Amar Li Abba Bar Chon Hachem Raziri Allah Reb Shimon. Ve'ein Allah Reb Shimon. The Allah is not like Reb Shimon. Two dots.
Wait,
6 lines in the bottom.
base. Okay, right.
Okay, Samach Hamad Beis.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Okay?
זה אסור בשתייה, מותר בענה.
כן.
So
מותר
basically what this is...
מותר בענו אסור בשתייה, כן.
So it's not shivas.
No, Allah is not like Kipshin.
זה חכמים.
Yeah, that's Chavim,
So
yeah.
in other words, again, I'm sounding like a broken record here. It sounds like what's koveya here is the koyach hamakshava. The makshava creates the metzias.
מעשה.
Well, okay, the makshava is the neshama and the mice is the goof. So the two together.
הוא שם את המקל
הוא אומר לא, הוא אומר שהכוונה שלו למדוד. מדוד בקונה. אז שלא נתכוון, he wasn't מכוון for anything else except for measuring how much wine is in the barrel.
Right.
So as long as his das is on the task at hand to measure, then it's okay. It's mutter ba'ano. Okay.
Because he's not being cone of the wine, right? Right?
Yeah, he's not mashach. His
Right.
das is not.
Right.
So you have tautel reyusa. You have number one.
Yeah.
His das is to measure.
Right.
And number two, it's not negia begufoy. He's being negia al yedei dover achar.
Right.
So maybe it's mutter ba'ano. Okay.
אמרנו ש...
It's an extension. Ooh.
זה שונה, מזורק חפץ לפה.
Yeah. Oh, that's already detached from him.
Yeah, detaching.
That's right. Okay, so the Gemara weiter. We're on the top of Samach, the bottom of Samach base. Mishnah says, "Not l'chavis azorka b'chamas labar zeh ma'asav chshiroi." There was a goy who took a barrel of wine, threw it into a pit of wine, and they're matir it even l'shtia. Amar Rav Ashi said on this Mishnah, "Koil shebezov tamei." Anything that's tamei by azov, any sort of negia that's tamei by azov, be'oived kachavim oise yain nesach. By a goy, it becomes yain nesach. Whatever is considered negia by azov is considered negia by yain nesach. Kol shebezov tor, ve'kachavim oise yain nesach. It's not a negia by kachavim with regard to yain nesach. Esevei. So the Gemara asks on Rav Ashi. Esevei on Rav Ashi. Not al zachavius our Mishnah. Not al zachavius ziroko b'chamas laboir. You take a barrel and you throw it in anger into a bar of wine. Zeh ma'aseh beishan v'chshiru v'chshiru, and they're matter. Yeah, they're matter even b'shtia. B'chamasoi, and only if he's angry, then it's mutter b'shtia, right? Because if he's in anger, then it's out of anger. He's not mechaven to serve as Avodah Zarah. But sheloi b'chamasoi. But if it's not out of anger, loi, it's not mutter b'shtia, which means that he made it yayin nesech, right? Throwing a chayfetz makes it yayin nesech. So the shaila is, the kasha is, by a zav who throws a chayfetz, right? And he throws it onto another chayfetz, the second chayfetz doesn't become tamei.
Does not.
So how could he say here that when he throws it and he's not angry, he throws the chavis into the bar, and he's not angry, the whole bar becomes, sounds like the whole bar becomes aser b'shtia.
Again,
by a zav,
it's
by a zav, rega. By a zav, it's not tomei. So why would it be yain nesach over here? Rav Ashi connects the two. He says whatever's an agia by zav, that's an agia by yain nesach, right? And over here there's a discrepancy because over here it sounds like if it's shaloi b'chamasoi, it's yain nesach through a zrika. By zav, that's not an agia. Gemara answers Hasan de Kozla minei uminei. Over there, the Mishnah, our Mishnah, when it's mashma, that if you throw it, it becomes yayin nesech. It's not the throwing where it leaves your hand. He's rolling the barrel into the pit. Yeah, there's a chshash. The chshash was that he's nagar. Rechavi, what are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that again. The nakuda is if a person's angry,
yeah,
they're just thinking about about what's making them
again,
mad.
das, yeah,
right.
das.
So again, it's das. If a person's not angry,
Right.
so his das may be to ruin the wine.
Okay.
But if he's angry, it's
That's
again,
right.
So
Rechavi is like-
machshava is a metzias,
Right.
or creates a metzias.
Right.
Sorry,
The Gemara's maskana. No, the Gemara's maskana is that by zrika,
Yeah.
even if your das is otherwise, it won't aser. That's the Gemara's maskana. Okay.
Right.
Okay.